Hi everyone, happy Halloween. So, I've decided to tell you another experience. Now, this one was probably one of the more recent-ish ones. So it doesn't really go back to my childhood per se. When I was 12, I think. So we just moved into the house we're in now. And this is part of the reason that we're not allowed to say the D word in this house. And so we just moved in, and I never really liked this house. I mean, it's not an old house. I mean, it's like 1960s, so it's not that old. I've lived in a lot older, you know. But it used to be farmlands here, from what we understand. I mean, the church is about a mile away, and that goes back to the 11th century. So that's how old the land is here. And yeah, so we did a house swap. Not particularly sure why, just my stepdad wanted a different house, so we did a house swap. And like this house, like, it hadn't been painted, it hadn't been nothing, it was in really, really bad condition. So my bedroom was at the back, and I would share with my sister. And so I always had a bit of a creepy feeling, and I always would hate the back garden. Would absolutely hate it. You would not catch me going out there after dark. You would not catch me looking out the window after dark. You know, when you just know you're being looked at by something. Well, that is literally how it felt all the time. And whenever I went in the bedroom, again, it always felt like I was being watched. So I remember I had this study desk, and it was before we'd even decorated, so that's how new we were to the house. And I was sat there doing my homework, and I didn't even have any curtains up at that point, right? I was sat at the work desk, which was kind of like to the left of the window, okay? And this is actually still my bedroom now to this day. And so it was to the left. Yeah, to the left. So I sat there minding my business, and the pressure got worse and worse. That feeling of being watched got worse and worse. And I felt so uncomfortable, but I was like, you know what, it's my imagination, I'm being silly, I'm just getting creeped out because it's a new house. So I sat there, and all of a sudden, on the window, it was kind of more like, you know, as if someone was throwing pebbles at a window. It was that kind of sound. So I was like, right, okay, so I turned around and had a look. Nothing there. Turned back round and continued to do what I was doing. You know, my homework. Next thing you know, knock, knock, knock. 3 knocks, even louder, very clearly on the glass. Turn around again. Nothing there. And this feeling, this pressure was getting worse and worse in the room. Turn back round, continue to do the homework. The next thing you know, bang, bang, bang on my window 3 times. And I completely frozen in fear at this point, and I turned around, and as I looked at the window, all of a sudden it was as if the glass was being breathed on, because you had all this, you know, like when you breathe on glass you get that condensation, you know. That's what happened. All of a sudden this kind of like condensation appeared on the window, and then all of a sudden all these symbols appeared. They weren't runes, they weren't like letters, they weren't anything I recognised. And yeah, I could literally see all these symbols being drawn. And at that point, as you imagine, I shat myself, and I legged it from the bedroom and hid at the top of the stairs for a while. And I think that was actually quite brave. Given my age, I was actually quite brave. So I calmed myself down, and I was like, okay, I need to go back in there, you know. And I went back in there, and when I went in there, it was all gone. There was nothing on that window. Now, this was before we had double glaze putting in, so they were the original windows. Yeah, they were just glass panes. And yeah, for ages I freaked me out, and I had so much activity in that bedroom. We actually had to get the upstairs of this house, we had to have mediums come out and do blessings and stuff like that. And we even at one point had to go as far as get a Satanist in to get, because, you know, we figured, okay, the good stuff isn't working, maybe the best way to fight evil was with evil. So my sister knew someone, And yeah, he came in and he got rid of the entity that was in my room, which is still my room now. And my son's room had to get blessed. Like, the whole of the upstairs was just like, it was like a no-go zone. This house has had an awful lot of activity in it over the years, which I find with any house I move into, but this one was always the worst. And, you know, I've been speaking to the neighbours and stuff, and near enough every house on this street has had activity, you know, or bad luck, or, you know, just bad things. And I would say to my mum, I say, this is cursed land. I say, there is something wrong with the land here. Considering they claim it was just farmland, which I don't believe for a second. Yeah, so that's the story of one of the entities in this house. Happy Halloween.